Hi there, everybody. It's Bonnie here. We are here with Intuitive Eating Wednesdays. So, I just want to give a minute for people to jump on with me. And let's see, I am live. I also want to go live on my Instagram. So, I'm going to go and while I'm waiting for people to show up on YouTube and Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and start my Insta Live. So when you come in, come say hello. And my phone is ringing, but we're going to let the machine get that. Let's see if this works. Okay, so I think I'm live now in all the places that I want to be live. So hello out there on my YouTube channel, and hello on Facebook, and hello on Instagram. So I'm finally getting this tech thing down. Welcome. It is, so again, if you are on Facebook and you are on YouTube, then I'm looking straight at you right now. And if you're on Instagram, I'm looking at you now. So you might see some of my profile, but just bear with me. Okay. So it's Intuitive Eating Wednesdays, and I'm really glad that you are joining me here today. So when you come in, just let me know that you're here with me, because as always, I love talking with you, not necessarily at you. And we have a very, very important topic to discuss today, like so important. This topic comes up a lot. Now, in case some of you are new to me, I do want to do a 30-second or less introduction. Again, my name is Bonnie Giller, and I help chronic dieters develop trust in themselves and food so they can break free of dieting and live life to the fullest. So welcome on Instagram. Sorry if you're going to see my profile. I am turning back and forth between YouTube, Facebook, and you guys on Instagram. So topic for today is, if you've tried intuitive eating and you feel it hasn't quote unquote worked for you, then you're going to want to hang with me for just a couple of minutes while we talk about this very important topic. So pop into the comments. Hey, Eileen, how are you? And thank you for joining. Eileen, don't forget, you got to click the StreamYard link that will allow you, it will allow StreamYard to show me your name. That's important so I could talk with you. So if you're here, say hello, both on Instagram. If you're here, put a comment, say hello, let me know. And if you are with me on YouTube or Facebook. So if you've tried, quote unquote, tried intuitive eating before, and you say it hasn't worked for you, can you put a comment in the box? If intuitive eating is brand new for you, also let me know if it's totally brand new. I'm interested to know where you're at with it. So I am bringing this topic to Intuitive Eating Wednesdays today because it is something that I hear all the time. It goes like this: Bonnie, I've tried intuitive eating before. It doesn't work for me. It sounds really great. I love the concept, but it just hasn't worked for me. So a lot of times people will think this way, and then they'll be like, so what's wrong with me? Like, why wouldn't this be working for me? I don't understand. The answer is nothing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with you. There are certain reasons why you've tried intuitive eating, and maybe you didn't progress as you would have liked to on the journey. Let's remind everybody right now, you were born an intuitive eater. So just remember that, okay? You're born an intuitive eater. And if you've been dieting for years, again, maybe even decades, then you still are an intuitive eater. It's just buried under years of dieting. Okay. So it's just buried under the years of dieting. And to regain that, it doesn't happen overnight. So again, I see some new people coming on. I want to welcome you. If you're on Instagram, I'm sorry, you'll see my profile just a little bit as I'm talking as well, to my YouTube people and Facebook. So I'm happy that you're here. Say hello in the comments so I know who I'm talking to. So becoming an intuitive eater, again, definitely, it doesn't happen overnight. Okay. It takes time. And I'm just wondering if you've said this to yourself before, right? If you've given it a go and you just didn't find peace with food in your body, because that's what I really want to talk about, right? I bet that you love the concept. And I know this because people have told me this, right? You love the concept of intuitive eating. And some people have even said, like, when I introduce intuitive eating to them, they're like, why haven't I heard this before? Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Why have I not even heard about this before? It's like the best kept secret. Yet there are challenges. And then you come back and you go, but it hasn't, quote unquote, worked for me. So if you have tried intuitive eating and you're thinking it didn't work for you, there are likely some common roadblocks that you've been experiencing and you've been bumping into. I'm going to talk about 3 common roadblocks right here, and there are more, but let's just touch on 3 of them. And again, if this is resonating with you, if the topic is resonating, please comment, post a comment. I definitely want to know who's with me so we can talk a bit back and forth about it. So let's talk again about the few. First, I'll mention there are a couple of reasons why your past experience with intuitive eating hasn't really panned out the way you hoped. Number one, you were focused on weight loss and caught up in diet culture. And let me tell you, that is a culture to be caught up in, but we can get out of that. We can dismantle those messages. But sometimes it sucks you in and it feels like you're drowning. If you feel that way, let me know. Please pop a comment in. So number one, you're focused on weight loss. You're sucked up into diet culture, and it really impeded your intuitive eating journey. Second, you're not really giving yourself full, unconditional permission to eat the foods that you enjoy. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. And third is you're not really focusing on intuitive eating, and I'll share what I mean by that in just a moment. So let's start with the first common roadblock, that you're stuck on weight loss and you're caught up in diet culture. I just want you to know I get it. Like, you've likely been focused on the scale for 5, 10, 20 years, maybe 40 or more years. I have to say that a lot of my clients, I'm not going to say the majority, a lot of my clients are or have been dieting for decades, like 50 years or more. Yes. So understand that it's not your fault. Your desire to intentionally pursue weight loss and to shrink your body, it's not your fault. It is the message that surrounds you every single day, all day, every day. So take a moment and give thought to what are some of the messages that you hear on a daily basis that make you think that you should lose weight, you should lose a few pounds. Go ahead and put a comment in the comment section if you'd like to participate. Just really want to know, what are some of your experiences? What is the exposure that you have to diet culture that keeps you stuck on weight loss? And mind you, you may even think to yourself, well, I just want to lose 5 pounds or 10 pounds. It's the 5 or 10 that I gained as I got older. Or you might say, no, it's the 50 pounds I've been struggling with for decades and years. So the struggle with weight loss and constantly being obsessed with the scale is a difficult one to shake. I'm looking at you on YouTube. I'm looking at you on Facebook. I'm looking at you guys on Instagram. It is a difficult one to shake. Diet culture tells you that to be worthy, you need to be skinny, right? Oh, hate that word. So here are some questions that I would like you to ponder. Number one, what brought you to intuitive eating in the first place? So you've heard of intuitive eating. I'm assuming if you're following me and you're here with me, you've likely heard of intuitive eating. If not, that's okay. If this is the first time that you're hearing about this topic and this concept, let me know. Okay, so Eileen says, I want to look better in my clothes. Okay, Eileen, so one of the very important things that we need to do is what? Buy new clothes, right? It's so you're bringing up such an important topic, Eileen. So Eileen is on Instagram with me, although you are on Facebook with me too, Eileen. So I'm not really sure where you are, but anyway, thank you for being here. If your clothes in your closet are your diet clothes that you bought when you've been dieting, and keep in mind, if you've been a chronic dieter and you've lived your life dieting, then you've likely been suppressing your weight and buying clothes that fits that dieting body. Then those clothes aren't going to fit you now. And if you try to fit yourself into those clothes, they are going to be uncomfortable, right? They're going to be uncomfortable. And so what we need to do is to pull all those clothes out of the closet, and we need to buy clothes for our here and now body, and then we'll be comfortable. You can absolutely find clothes that are fashionable, that will help you to feel really empowered. So that would be my recommendation, Eileen, to you. We're going to dig deeper into that in session. So what brought you to intuitive eating in the first place? Eileen says, I want to look better in my clothes. Keep in mind, intuitive eating, and this is a very important point, guys. Intuitive eating is not a weight loss program, okay? It is not a weight loss program. Eileen says, dieting doesn't work. I kept losing and gaining the same 50 pounds. Exactly. So you know that. I'm so glad Eileen has come to that realization, because she is on this amazing journey. So, okay. So what brought you to intuitive eating? Give thought to that. If you thought that you can lose weight with intuitive eating, I want you to know that that is unfortunately a marketing message that a lot of people online are sharing and telling you. Will your body change? Will you lose weight? Perhaps you will. Maybe. Some people gain weight if they've been suppressing their weight, or they have an eating disorder and they're under their natural set point. And when they release the restriction, they may regain weight to their natural set point. Others may lose weight or get back to the natural set point. Others stay the same. But what I can tell you is, in my experience, time and time again, the weight loss, weight gain cycle that Eileen has experienced stops. It absolutely stops. So, very first important question is, what brought you to intuitive eating in the first place? The second question I really want, now this is a question that you have to go deep on. You can share here if you'd like, or we can have a conversation offline if you'd like. But what do you fear about weight gain? So ask yourself that question. Okay, if I were to gain weight, what is my fear around weight gain? And then what are your fears around weight gain based on? Most likely it's based on the diet culture beliefs and messages. Right? So diet culture has one belief that they are only worthy of respect and just a worthy of anything really in life if what? If they are in a thin body, right? So you're chasing the thin ideal. So it's an unfortunate message of diet culture. And fear of gaining weight, even if that means gaining weight to what your natural set point is, if you are under that from years of dieting, remember, when your weight set point is something pre-genetically determined. Every time you try to push yourself below that, your body is going to try to bring you back to that set point to help you survive, so you stay alive. More on that maybe in another training, in another video, all about weight set point. But your fears of gaining weight is most likely due to judgment of what you think others are going to say, what you think others are going to say about you, the perception of others. So I want you to give thought to that. Journal on it. So number one, what brought you to intuitive eating in the first place? Number two, what do you fear about weight gain? Number three, what are those fears about weight gain based on? And then what does weight loss or weight gain mean to you? What does that mean to you, right? Why is weight such an important factor in your life? Because keep in mind, if you're stressing about every morsel of food you're putting in your mouth and you're pushing, I got to lose weight, that is stress. That is stress on your body. That is stress on your mental health, right? And what happens then? The opposite. Stress actually causes the stress hormone cortisol to flood through your system. And if you're living in a chronically stressed state, the opposite of what you're trying to do is going to happen. So if you're trying to lose weight by dieting and calorie counting and tracking and so on and so forth and causing so much stress, that stress actually causes fat to deposit and for you to gain weight. So think about, if others did not make comments about your weight, or others did not care about your weight, how would you feel about your body? So can you step out of yourself for just a moment and look in objectively and just think back to you as a person, what your character is like, what your attributes are, your positive attributes, and just try to disconnect some of your beliefs around body size with your worth, because your worth is not dictated by a number, not a number on a scale, not a number on a dress size. It's unfortunate that those are the messages that we get. So a daily reminder, here's a little tip for you, is this: set a daily reminder for yourself and ask, is my mind on weight today? And how is it impacting my food choices? Okay. Sonia, hello, welcome. I'm so glad that you joined us here. Sonia, don't forget to utilize the Intuitive Eating Basics Community Forum on Mighty Networks as you work through the modules of the Intuitive Eating Basics program. I want to hear from you and see how you're doing. So we're talking today about if you've tried intuitive eating and it hasn't, quote unquote, worked for you. Why? What are some of the factors? And the first one we're digging into right here, right now, is that you're stuck on weight loss and you're very much caught up in diet culture. Okay, so these are questions. If you missed these questions, you'll go back to the replay and you'll go through these. But your bonus tip here, number one, is set that daily reminder and ask yourself periodically throughout the day, is my mind on my weight today, on my body? Am I hyper-focused? And is it impacting my food choices? Okay, the second obstacle or roadblock that you might have found yourself in when, again, trying intuitive eating and it hasn't worked for you, so you threw in the towel, would be that you're not really giving yourself full unconditional permission to eat. Now, I will say that this concept has been very difficult for people to understand. Like when I say to people, give yourself unconditional permission to eat, it's like, whoa, are you kidding me? If I do that, I won't stop eating, and so on, right? So before you before you began your intuitive eating journey, again, whether you're on it currently, when you're dabbling in it, whether you tried it and threw in the towel, either way, you probably had foods you considered quote unquote forbidden, right? Would you say yes? Do you still have foods that are forbidden? And you might feel anxious around certain foods. You might have a hard time letting go of food labels. You might have a hard time letting go of classifying foods as good and bad, healthy, unhealthy, legal, illegal, can have, can't have, right? And you might fear eating these foods. What is your biggest fear that comes up if you were to give yourself unconditional permission to eat? What is your biggest fear around those foods? Think about it and put it in the comments. I want you to know that it is understandable for you to be worried about this. It's understandable for you to have fear. Please be gentle with yourself as you work through this process. It's so, so very important. So again, if you bumped into this obstacle, this roadblock, here are some questions for you to ponder. Ready? Number one, are you allowing yourself to eat the foods that you want? Within the intuitive eating process, this is very important to break through the fear. Break through the fear and provide yourself with that unconditional permission to eat. So are you actually allowing yourself to do that? Who are you? Let me rephrase that. Who are you with when you're eating? So if you've decided, yes, part of intuitive eating is allowing myself to eat foods that I previously forbidden, but you're having trouble doing that, think about, are you eating anybody? And are you eating, oh, I'm having trouble with my words today. Are you eating with other people when you're attempting to give yourself that unconditional permission? And are you afraid that they're going to judge you on what you're eating, right? Are you eating the food because you're trying intuitive eating, but you have guilt? So these are the questions that I want you to ponder. I have a story to share with you. I like to try to insert stories because I think it's really very, very helpful for you to really be able to kind of just internalize the messages that I'm sharing with you today. So again, if you're just joining, we're talking about if you've tried intuitive eating, quote unquote, but it hasn't worked for you, these are some of the reasons. So we're up to the second roadblock. Again, if you missed it, go back and listen because it's really important information. So I had made my husband a surprise party, one of his birthdays, and my sister-in-law made the best looking chocolate cake ever. And we were at the party and it came time for, singing happy birthday, bringing the cake out. And then we were just chatting around. Everyone's talking and walking around and chatting. And I went to take a piece of chocolate cake and I started eating the cake. And someone says to me, oh my God, Bonnie, you eat cake, right? Judgment, what their perceptions were of me because of my career, what I do for a living. And I'm like, yes, if I choose to eat cake and I want to eat cake, I eat it, I enjoy it, and I move on, right? So that's the thing. Like, I know you're afraid of judgment. I get it. But is that holding you back from giving yourself unconditional permission to eat? Because I could promise you this, if you're eating that cake or any other food for that matter, and you're afraid of the judgment of others, it's going to be holding you back from giving yourself that unconditional permission. Although you're physically eating the food, mentally or emotionally, you're not really giving yourself that permission. Okay, so that is the second very important roadblock that I want you to ponder. I gave you lots of questions to think about. Journal on those questions and then come back and let me know what you've come up with. Okay, the next roadblock I want to touch on is you're really not focused on intuitive eating and you're not focused on the intuitive eating journey. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about this, what I'm referencing here. So, yes, you decided maybe diets don't work. You got that. And you said, I got to find another way. I heard of this intuitive eating. And maybe even you realize that there is no promise of weight loss, although, again, some people might lose weight, but there's no promise. But you're giving your body the space that it needs to arrive where it's naturally intends to be, where nature wants for it, right? So you began this journey. You want to become that intuitive eater again, just like you were born. But what I find with a lot of people is they're really not focused on it. Why? It sounds great, like this whole idea of having peace with food and just total food freedom. And it sounds like, yeah, that's awesome. But it does require work. The truth is, and I'm always very honest with people, and Eileen, if you're still here with me, you can verify this, right? Or if any other clients are on with me now, you can verify this as well. You know, it's not an easy peasy journey, but it's well worth it. Like a client that I had this morning, we were talking and she says, it's sinking in. It's sinking in. And she was ecstatic that it's all sinking in. And she's seeing the sinking in means we working on mindset. So her thoughts and her beliefs are changing. And all of a sudden, what's happening? When her thoughts and beliefs change, her feelings change, her behaviors change, right? And her results change. So I will never say to any client, and I will never say to any one of you that this is easy to recover from dieting and diet culture. It's not easy, but the work you put in now is going to pay off hundreds, thousands fold. Okay, it absolutely will. Yes, Eileen says it isn't easy, but it is very rewarding, right? So listen to Eileen. She is in the journey now, as well as other people who are here as well. So here's my bonus tip for you. Think about the effort that you put in when you go on a diet. What is that effort like, right? Think about the diets that you've been on. What kind of effort did you put in? You were focused, you were determined, right? Okay. Claire, hi Claire, so glad that you're here. You love the questions, very helpful. Good, good. So I want you to think about the effort you've put into your dieting and put the same effort into healing from dieting. Okay, so you've put a lot of effort. I mean, God knows if you were to tally up how much time and how much resources, you put into all the dieting you've done, and now you turn that effort into the intuitive eating journey, and you focus and you time block time to really focus on doing the work, then you will absolutely continue to move forward on this journey. Eileen says, exactly. Awesome. There is one more roadblock that I do want to mention. Hey, thanks for the hearts. I love it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, there is one more roadblock. I said I was doing 3, but I just realized I do have to talk about one more. So very important. You might be struggling with hunger and fullness. Another very common roadblock I hear from people. Bonnie, I don't hear hunger. I don't hear fullness. I can't trust my body. I get it. Dieting has stripped you of that trust and has caused those signals to silence and atrophy. I want to remind you that if you've been dieting, you've been accustomed to eating based on external hunger cues, not your internal cues. Years of dieting has caused you to distrust the feelings of hunger and fullness, and not only distrust them, but ultimately not even hear them anymore. Because you've been focusing on portion size, what the meal plan tells you, what the diet book tells you, like following the rules. Those rules are external from your body. Okay, what I should eat, I shouldn't eat, I can eat, I can't eat, and so on. So just give yourself that compassion. Remember, it's going to take time to reactivate those signals, to reignite them, but they will, and it can happen, right? I want to this is very important, actually. Mindset work really needs to come first. If you're saying, okay, I get intuitive eating, I want to listen to my inner hunger and fullness signals instead of my external rules of dieting, but I don't hear them. Can you teach me, Bonnie, how to hear hunger and how to hear fullness and know when to stop eating? And I say, yeah, of course I can teach you. Those are two principles, very important principles of intuitive eating. But what I find is if we don't do that mindset work first, sort of like the obstacles we've been talking about first, if we don't do those mindset work first, then without a shadow of a doubt, you're going to start to listen for hunger and fullness, and it's going to become more dieting rules for you, right? So there is a principle of intuitive eating that we call honor your hunger. But if you're still sitting with a diet mentality, then you will, without a shadow of a doubt, turn the honor your hunger principle into a rule. Thou shalt only eat when hungry. And if you, God forbid, eat when you're not hungry, what's going to happen? Shame, guilt, disappointment, throw in the towel. I did it again. And that is why you've tried intuitive eating before and it hasn't, quote unquote, worked for you. So what I'd like to ask you is, what roadblock did you find, or are you finding you're bumping into? What roadblock have you been bumping into on your journey? So if you've done this work before, even if you started this work with me and then you said, no, I gotta just lose the weight. I gotta just lose the X amount of pounds first, and then I'm gonna go back to learning about intuitive eating. No, that's a diet trap that you're falling into. What was the biggest roadblock? What was the biggest obstacle for you? And just know one thing. You were born an intuitive eater. You can return to being an intuitive eater. The ability to be an intuitive eater is buried under many years of all the dieting and the diet culture that you've lived in, you're currently living in. But that doesn't mean we cannot break apart and dismantle those diet culture messages and really learn to listen to your body again, learn to hear the signals and allow them to guide you. I'm here to help you do that. Now, if you have any questions, please pop into the comment. If you have any just comments about this information, please let me know. Every Wednesday, we tackle a different topic around intuitive eating so that I can help you really have peace with food and your body and just live your life and enjoy it without the worry of the food and the weight and so on. Now, in case you want to dig further, reach out to me. We can figure out how I can help support you. If you're looking for a getting started guide, like how can I get started on this intuitive eating? If you really don't want to invest a lot, I get it. Check out my Intuitive Eating Basics course. So just go to intuitiveeatingbasics.com. And in that course, you'll have a step-by-step approach to get started on your intuitive eating journey. It will give you a taste of it. I know Sonia's in that group now. So you could do this. There is a support group for that as well. So it's not a live program, but it is a program that's self-paced, but you'll still get the support. It is very reasonable, and I would encourage you to check it out at intuitiveeatingbasics.com. Okay, and of course, if you feel that you really want to go deeper and you feel that you need and you would like private coaching, you want me to work with you, take you by the hand. Let me just put that link in there for you guys. If you want me to take you by the hand through this journey, I would love to do that. So you can just email me, Bonnie@dietfreeradiantme.com. And then we can get on a quick call and figure out how, we can figure out how to do that. Okay. Otherwise, go ahead to intuitiveeatingbasics.com so you can get started on your journey with some, just dip your toes into intuitive eating. All right. So we talked about lots of things today. If you've tried intuitive eating and it didn't work for you, consider the questions that I posed for you today, and come back and let me know what your biggest aha moment is. Is there anything that you want to share with me? Those here on Instagram, welcome. For those on YouTube and Facebook, can you share with me? Is there anything that you would like any clarity on? And do you have any thoughts or final comments on some of these obstacles that I mentioned? Please let me know. Let me go ahead and look for my comments. I always see sometimes the comments mess up. Okay, cool. All right, so Sonia and Claire and Eileen and whoever else is with me live, I appreciate you being here. Post any comments as follow-up, and I'll be sure to come back and chat with you about it. And you guys on Instagram Live, Sonia, you're welcome. It's great to see you guys. Wednesdays, 12:15 Eastern. There will always be a training for you. All right, you have a great day. Bye.